Hello everyone, this is Khushi Modi from Elite Learning, and today we would be looking at all the grammar things that are related to your writing and speaking. That would be helpful to you for your IELTS writing and speaking part. So we will start with the very basics. In the writing and the speaking module, grammatical range and accuracy is one of your band descriptors. So we would be looking at how to get maximum score in that particular part in both of your writing and speaking, and then we would be analyzing a writing task full, one and two both, so that you will get an idea of how and what kind of sentences are expected out of you. So firstly, the basic and the most important thing is tenses. That is the number one thing which is important for your writing and the speaking module. So basically, it is very important to identify the right tense that has to be used, especially for your task 1, while you're writing a graph or probably while you're describing any process. Let us say it is a process, the life cycle of a butterfly, for example. So that is a process diagram. So for that particular question, for that particular task, you need to write in present simple tense, right? So you need to be aware of the different questions and how you have to, which tense you have to opt for in that particular question. That is very, very important. This goes for speaking as well, that which time period you are talking about. Based on that thing, you will decide which tense you want to opt for, right? We will quickly look at the basics of all the tenses. Along with tenses, active passive voice is also very important, right? Voices are also very important. So we would be looking at tenses and voices both, and I would be helping you how to score good in both of them. Okay, so generally in task 2 and a little bit in task 1, you're expected to make a mixture of active and passive voice. More of passive voice is expected out of you, so we'll be looking at both of them. So to start with, I will quickly uh, explain you. We will first start with the present simple tense. We would start with present simple tense. Present simple tense is used for daily activities. Use is very important. Why it is used? A particular tense, it is very important to note why a particular tense is used. Okay, so any sentence is made out of subject, verb, object. So in this particular tense, we would write like this. All the tenses are made in active voice. Subject is I, we, you, they, he, she, it. These are called subjects, and of course, right, verb in its original form. For example, I make cakes. For example, if I am a boulanger, I hope you know what is a boulanger. Oh, sorry, who is a boulanger? So, okay, for example, I am a boulanger. I have my own patisserie. So, I make, and object would be cakes. So, this would be my sentence. So, passive voice is really very easy. You just have to make a cross. Object you have to put ahead and subject you have to take behind. Cakes by me, right? When I goes into subject, we put it as me, right? Okay, cakes are made. Just remember one thing, in passive voice, this would remain the same. The only change between different tenses in passive voice, that is continuous, perfect, past, future, all the changes would take place over here. These things will remain same irrespective of any tense, present, past, future. Passive voice में ऐसे ही रहेगा, right? Okay. Now, if I just show present simple tense is clear, okay, just one rule, that is with he, she and it, the verb has to end with s or es. That is, if here my sentence would have been Khushi makes cakes, because Khushi is she. So I would write s with it. When es would come when your verb ends in s, sh, ch, x, o, then your and z. Then your verb will have es and not s. I hope present simple tense is clear. I will quickly move so that we can cover all the things and not take much time. Next is present continuous tense. Present continuous tense. This we use very less in IELTS, because this tense is used for at the moment activity. So आप जब IELTS की एग्जाम लिख रहे होंगे तब आप कुछ और नहीं कर रहे हैं, या जब आप स्पीकिंग दे रहे हैं तब आप कुछ और नहीं कर रहे. So you don't use this tense much in your IELTS, but still we'll go through it. With I we use am plus verb with ing. With he, she and it, that is singular subjects, you use is plus verb with ing. With we, you and they, that are called plural subjects, you use are plus verb with ing. This is the case in active voice. I am teaching grammar. You are learning from me. She is sitting quietly. Okay, now as we had discussed earlier, we would make a cross. So in this particular voice, we add B-E-I-N-G, being. Being. Am is R plus being plus V3, right? Because ये वाले ing का कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा, so हम being करेंगे. So for example, Khushi is making cakes. We'll take that same example. Khushi is making cakes. Cakes are being made by Khushi. Very easy. Passive voice is generally what you use in your writing. Okay. Coming to present perfect tense, that you use for recently completed activity. जो अभी थोड़े टाइम पहले कंप्लीट की है. I, we, you, they के साथ you use have plus V3 plus object, and with he, she and it you use has plus V3 plus object. For example, I have given IELTS examination. So IELTS examination has been 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 given by me. Cross. Coming to past tense, simple past, you use simple past tense for completed action. Subject, any subject, plus V2 plus object. Again, across. In present, we used to write Amazar over here. In past, we write was, were plus V3. I made cookies for you, for example. I made cookies for you. So, cookies were made by me for you. Past continuous tense. With singular subjects, you use was plus verb with ing. With plural subjects, you use were plus verb with ing plus object, of course. Okay. When do you use this tense? When some past activity was going on. Okay, I'll give a very easy example. For example, 4 to 5, you have your tennis class. Okay. So if somebody asks you, what were you doing at 4:30? Right? Your class starts at 4 o'clock and ends at 5 o'clock. So if somebody asks you at night, at for example 9 o'clock, if your father asked you or your mother asked you, what were you doing at 4:30? So your action had started but it had not been completed. So when you want to talk about such timings, such things, you use past continuous tense because your action was not completed at that point of time. Yes, and then again you make a cross. With was, were, you add BEING. Was, were plus being plus V3. That is how you add. Past perfect tense you don't use much, but still I will just give a very quick brief. When you want to talk about two past activity, you use past perfect tense for the activity that took place first, and for the second activity you use simple past or past continuous tense. All the subjects had plus V3 plus object. While you're converting them, had plus been plus V3, right? Coming to last tense, that is simple future tense. Simple future tense, will plus V1. For simple future tense, you use will plus V1 plus object. Over here, will be plus V3 plus subject, right? This is how you go about with the tenses and voices. I hope both of these are clear. Future continuous and future perfect you do not use in IELTS. I hope all the tenses and voices are clear. The next important thing as far as your grammar is concerned is modal verbs. Can, could, may, might, should, would, have to, must. So it is very important that you are aware of all the modal verbs and you use them however they are needed. Coming to the most important part, that is simple, compound, complex. You are expected to make a mixture of simple and complex sentences. This does not mean that you do not have to use compound sentences. Fanboys से बनते हैं compound sentences. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. इनसे बनते हैं कंपाउंड सेंटेंसेस. सो ऐसा नहीं है कि ये यूज करने ही नहीं है, ये कंजंक्शंस भी यूज करने हैं बट कम यूज करने हैं. यू हैव टू यूज मोर ऑफ द अदर देन दीज कंजंक्शंस विच मेक योर कॉम्प्लेक्स सेंटेंस. और कभी कभार बीच में सिंपल सेंटेंस भी एक आध यूज करना है. वो हम देखेंगे, हम पूरे टास्क को एनालाइज करेंगे, एक 7 बैंड टास्क को और एक 9 बैंड टास्क को, task 1 and 2 both, so that you can get a good and better idea of how sentences are supposed to be made. Coming to another important thing, this is very important, collocation for your speaking as well. Collocations are two words that generally go together. For example, healthy lifestyle, hectic schedule, monotonous routine. These words generally go together. So it is important that you use chunks of good collocations. Vocabulary में भी काफी help करेगा ये. This is a part of vocabulary. Another vocabulary that would be needed for your writing and speaking is linking words, or you can also call linking devices, however, moreover, in addition to add on, etc., etc. Relative clause. क्या होता है relative clause? Who, which, that. When you used to refer to something, to a noun or a pronoun earlier, you're expected to use relative clause in your writing, not speaking, in your writing. You are also expected to make at least one conditional sentence that starts with if or in case. You are expected to make a conditional sentence. I hope all the rules and the different kinds of sentences that you're expected to make are clear. Now we would be analyzing a writing task, a 9-band writing task 1 and a 7-band writing task 2 that students have written, and we would be looking at the different kinds of sentences that are used and that is how we'll get to know what kind of expectations are there from you. So now let us read this bar graph. Let us read the question of this paragraph. The chart below shows the expenditure of two countries on consumer goods in 2010. The things are measured in pound sterling. That is what is given in the graph, right? So of course this is the answer. We will not be going into the depth of discussing the format and everything. I am sure you are already aware of that, right? We would quickly be looking at the grammar part, that is what kind of sentences are made and everything. Okay, so quickly moving forward, the compound sentence. The task has been started by using a compound sentence. That is, the chart illustrates the amount of money spent on 5 consumer goods: cars, computers, books, perfume, camera in France and in UK in 2010. Right? So we can call it a simple and a compound sentence, but more often it is a simple sentence. Next, units are measured in pound sterling. This is in passive voice. This is again a simple sentence but in passive voice. Next, overall, the UK spent more money on consumer goods than France in the given period. By using than, this sentence is converted into a complex sentence. Next, both the British and French spent most of their money on cars, whereas the least amount of money was spent on perfume in the UK compared to cameras in France. By using whereas, we converted this sentence into a complex one. Now a linking device has been used, that is, a linker has been used. Furthermore, the most significant difference in expenditure between the two countries was on cameras, right? Again, in the next sentence, a linking device in terms of cars, people in the UK spent about 450,000 pounds on this, as opposed to the French at 400,000 pounds. Next sentence also has a linking device and a complex sentence. So basically, you can see that more of complex sentences are used and connectors, linkers are also used. Similarly, the British expenditure was higher on books than the French, around 400,000 pounds and 300,000 pounds respectively. Now, in the next sentence, a relative clause has been used. In the UK, expenditure on cars was just over 350,000 pounds, was over double that than that of France, which was only 150,000 pounds. So again, which, that is relative clause, because it is in reference to the word ahead. On the other hand, the amount of money paid out on the remaining goods was higher in France. Above 350,000 pounds was spent by the French on computers, which was slightly more than the British, who spent exactly 350,000 pounds. Who, relative clause, it is used to refer to something with earlier, to a noun which is placed earlier. And the last sentence is ended with the graph ends with neither of a compound complex sentence. Neither of the two countries spent much on perfume, which accounted for 200,000 pounds of expenditure in France, under 150,000 pounds in the UK. So, but makes it a compound sentence, and which makes it a neither and which makes it a complex sentence. So, I hope you have understood what kind of sentences are used. That is why I have specifically made the table, so that you're able to understand that each and every sentence is not a simple one, or the kind of one that we are used to making. This is a 9-band task. Now we would be looking at a 7-band writing task too. Let us read the question. Let us go through the question. Today, different types of robots are being developed which can serve as companions and workers to help at work and at home. Is this a positive or a negative development? Now, as this question says, we had discussed earlier that we need to have a chunk of collocations, linkers, connectors. So we'll be looking at all of that in detail, one by one, sentence by sentence. Let us go through the first sentence, which is a compound complex sentence, and two collocations have been used. It is evident that robotic research has allowed individuals to build robots which can be used to facilitate activities in the corporate world and at homes as humans partners. So corporate world, that is a collocation. Robotics research is also a collocation. Two collocations used, and which makes it a complex sentence and makes it a compound sentence. So it is a compound complex sentence and with collocation. However, I opine that this is a negative development because robots do not have feelings, which could not understand humans' problems, and excessive use in the industry would increase unemployment. So, again, however, that is a linker, and because complex sentence and compound sentence, linking device and compound sentence to embark with, it is a fact that humans need someone with whom they can share their thoughts and feelings, because robots would not understand their emotions and state of mind. This is again a complex sentence. In other words, although robots can be used to complete other odd jobs at home, they would not be considered companions because they do not have affections and could not judge people's sentiments. Collocation and a linking device. And of course, although makes it a complex sentence. This is supported by research conducted by the scientists in Japan, in which it is claimed that as robots could not render emotional support, approximately 60% of people who use robots as companions are disappointed. Who, that is a relative clause that is being used over here. Moreover, people opine that using robots in the manufacturing process or corporate offices would create colossal problems related to unemployment. Can you see the language? Can you see the vocabulary that is being used? Colossal problems. Manufacturing process. It not only makes a part of collocation but also vocabulary. Furthermore, if industries, conditional sentence, we had discussed that you're expected to use at least one conditional sentence. If industries develop processes considering automation, it reduces the requirements of people, which hampers employment opportunities, collocation, causing distinct drawbacks. Language, I want you to focus on the words that are being used, right? We only lack in words. A jump between 6 and a 7 band is just the use of words and the language that you put in. You need to be able to frame your idea. You need to be able to decorate your idea so well that that the examiner would would be eager and would want to give you a 7 or a higher band. Okay, moving forward. For instance, advanced nations like Japan have experienced a considerable surge in unemployment after instilling advanced technology using robots in their offices and factories. To conclude, I firmly assert that human beings need humans as their partners or companions because people feel a sense of connection with fellow people. However, machines would not understand people's emotions. Moreover, unemployment has become an alarming problem. Alarming problem, that's a collocation. Therefore, I think that the corporate should not adopt a modern approach of using robots in the industry, right? So, I hope you have had a good focus. You have paid good focus on the words, on the kind of vocabulary that is being used, which will be helpful to improve your score. I hope you have understood properly all the grammatical part that you need to take care of to improve your writing. Of course, it is more of coherence and cohesion also that I put in focus on because I guided you with the linking devices and everything. And of course, the lexical resource part also we took care of by adding good chunks of collocations and everything and the vocabulary as well. So basically task 1 is a 9 band task and task 2 is a 7 band task. So I am sure you'll be able to compare your task with the task that the student had written, and you'll be able to see the difference. And I hope this video was useful to you. If you have any doubts and queries, you can let us know in the comment section. And also, if you want any specific topic to be taken for in the next video, you can let us know through the comment section. All the very best.